Okay, so I just whispered this entire thing for my ASMR channel. So now I'm gonna do it on here because I can talk peacefully on here. So these are the books I've read in 2023. So the first book I'm gonna talk about, I just talked about this whole, it took me like half an hour and now I'm gonna talk about it again, but I feel like I'm gonna be able to say more because I don't have to whisper. Okay, so the first book is called The Player of Games. I'm a huge Grimes fan, so if you know, if you listen to her, and if you're like into her lore and all of that stuff, you would know that she's a huge Ian M. Banks fan. And so basically, The Player of Games is, I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's based off of this world. So, you know, like this is Earth, this is the culture, their Earth is the culture. Okay, so it's the culture. It's like it's he does like a whole series and it's based off the culture. Okay, it's like their own little world. And so yeah, it's called The Player of Games by Ian M. Banks. I recommend 100% if you like sci-fi. And so basically, there's this guy. The main character is called Jernau Gergely. And this is based on this. Like I said, it's sci-fi. It's very futuristic. My perception of this book was, I don't know if it's correct, but this is just the way I saw it, is that basically, so AI is taking over our jobs and eventually it's just going to take over everything to the point where we'll just be playing like board games or any sort of games in order to survive, like as an order of class. Like right now it's money, and then later on it's just basically going to be games. Like if you're skilled at a specific game, you're going to be like higher up. So Jernau Gergely, he basically is like the best player of games. Grimes has a song. It's called Player of Games. And the lyrics kind of, they're kind of similar to this whole book. So, the Player of Games, Jernau Gergely, the question people ask, like, oh, does he cheat? Was he a cheater? I'm not going to answer that. Yeah. And so basically he goes to compete to this other world. I forgot what it was called. Asgard. Oh, I forgot. No, Asgard. I forgot what it's called. And he has to learn this whole new game. There's this girl that she's like a pro player as well. He kind of gets jealous, and yeah, there's a bunch of robots, there's a bunch of aliens. This next book I'm going to talk about, which is called Surface Detail by the same author, Ian M. Banks. I don't know what book it was. It was either Surface Detail or The Player of Games. I'm looking at my Goodreads because it keeps track of everything that I read. So I don't know what book it was, but basically someone asked some robots something, like, what do you do? Something like that. And the robots were like, we hack. And I'm like, I love hacking and stuff. Or I'm not a hacker, but I like the whole notion of hacking. And so yeah, I thought that was funny. And that is to say that yeah, basically robots take over every job to where people are just playing games and just they have different worries in life. So The Player of Games, I would rate it as a, ooh, the ending was crazy. The ending was so crazy, for sure. I was shocked. I think I was like listening to it at work, and I had to stop and think. And I was like, damn, I can't believe this book is over. I felt terrible whenever it was finished, but I would rate it like a 9.5. It's one of my top 5 books. Let's see. Next book is called Surface Detail. My review on Goodreads was it begins in the realm of the real, where matter still matters. ලිද්දිዄ Ibrek, which is the main character, is one of the I don't even know what the hell that word is. Integrated, her marked body bearing witness to a family shame. Basically, she's a slave to vepers. Vepers is like a Bill Gates, Elon Musk type of person in the culture. He owns everything. He has like his little servants and everything. And so basically, Ledege Breck, which is the main character, she was cursed. Not cursed, but like she's cursed herself. Her family and Vepers had like some beef and they probably owed him or something. So they had to give them the Deje Breck to Vepers, like as a slave. Not just as a slave, but it's very graphic. Like there's a lot of gore, there's a lot of sexual abuse in the worst way. And okay, and it says her life belonging to the man whose lust for power is without limit, which this Vepers guy, like I said, really reminded me of Bill Gates / Elon Musk. Just so thirsty for money and power, like they can't get enough. Like it's disgusting. And they're I don't know. It's they connect so much. So I don't know, this Vepers character, obviously you're not supposed to like him, but I didn't like him. And prepared to risk everything for her freedom, her release when it comes is at a price. And to put things right, she will need the help of the culture. It begins in the realm of the real. It begins with a murder, and it will not end until the culture has gone to war with death itself. So basically, they're killing themselves just like this earth is killing itself. Humans kill themselves. Nobody's killing us. We're just killing each other. We're killing ourselves. Basically, that's what I said there. Sorry, I have bad allergies. I can't breathe. And okay, that just gave me like a whole recap. I haven't read this book since last year, so yes, what I love about this book is that it's not like those hero movie / books that are like their enemy, they tried so hard to get in front of their face and like finally get in the same room as them to kill them or like to beat them up or say something. And then at the end, they're like, no, I will be courageous. I'll be the bigger person and I'm not going to do this. And then somehow the evil person like falls off a cliff by accident and they die, something like that. What I like about this book is that she gets her revenge. She does everything possible to get her revenge. And that's what I love about it. She gets her revenge and she does everything possible. And it just made me happy because I'm tired of all these fake movies, fake books where how do I say, it's like sorry, I had like a brain fart right now. They don't take in consideration real human emotions. Some people can't control themselves, so whenever they would see their biggest enemy, like if it were in the movies, they would do something. I like how this book is very realistic and it's very pro reader. Like the reader wants them to go get your revenge, kill him, blah, all that stuff. And yeah, it does. She does what she needs to do. And this book is very much based on virtual reality, I guess, simulation. So this is like this whole thing happening in the real. Then I'm not gonna say if she dies or not, but it's a lot about like virtual hell, virtual afterlife, virtual everything. And yeah, I really like the concept of a virtual afterlife. That's pretty cool. A virtual prison, like instead of going to prison, you just go to prison virtually and you're like tortured. You're physically not tortured, you're like nourished and everything, which is good. But mentally you're being tortured virtually. That book I would rate the same as the other one, which would be like a 9.5 out of 10. It's a bit longer than The Player of Games. I really like surface detail. It's very good. Definitely recommend Surface Detail and The Player of Games by Iain M. Banks, same author. If you like sci-fi, I love sci-fi, so I loved it. So the next book is called Anthem by Ayn Rand. These reviews are so crappy. I do it like right after, and I'm just trying to get a review in just to remind myself, like right now, because I'm gonna read it. I write it for this moment, and when I read it, I'm like, what did I write? I don't know what I'm talking about, but okay. So this captivating book left I don't even know what words I use. I just like use a word that I remembered, and then I can't read it right now. Indelible. Okay, it left an indelible mark on my high school years, and its memorable scenes have lingered with me ever since. Despite struggling to recall the title for years, the joy of rediscovering it surpassed my expectations. The dystopian ambience and overall brilliance of the book remain truly remarkable. That is my review of Anthem by Ayn Rand. So, what I mean that it left a mark in my high school years is because in high school, they made us read this book in English class. And so we read this book. I didn't even know the title. I was just reading it, like high schoolers. They're like, I don't want to read. So you don't even look at the title. You don't care. You just read it when you have to, all that stuff. But this book was so good that it left an imprint in my brain. And I didn't even know the title. I just remember the scenes from this book. And I remember, until I read it, which was in November last year. Until then, since sophomore year, I've had these scenes and like dreams about this book because it's so, it's so graphic. And I was finally able to find it. It was through Audible. It was free. It was a free book on Audible. I didn't even know it was the book that I've been looking for. And I listened to it, and then like towards the beginning, I was like, this sounds very familiar. And then towards the middle, we're actually going towards the middle. So it's a very short book. Going towards the middle, I was like, this is the book I've been looking for since sophomore year or freshman year. It was crazy. And I read this book in one day. It's very short, so nothing cool. I read it in one day, and it was very intriguing. It's so beautiful. A lot of people hate it. I love it. I don't care. I love it. And so I'm not gonna spoil it, but my perception of this book was that, I don't know, communism. That was my perception of it. I'm gonna take a sip of Diet Coke. I need a break. Okay. So yeah, this book gave me the perception of communism. And I read a lot of reviews, and supposedly it's not about communism because in the book it's a lot of a lot of us, a lot of all of that stuff, communism terms. And like I said, I read reviews, and supposedly that's not the whole idea of it. So I was like, okay, I guess it's just me. And sorry, my chair makes so much noise. But yeah, very good book. Towards the end, it was crazy because it was like, what's the word I'm looking for? What's that word that's been missing my entire life? And yeah, I'm not gonna say what it is, but yeah, I recommend this book 1000% since it's so short and it's so good. I'm probably saying these books are so good, and then people read them and they're like, this is the worst book I've ever read. But I don't care. I love these books. This is Anthem by Ayn Rand. I rate it a 9.9. Yeah, 9.9. There's a lot this book reminds me of in real life, but I'm not going to say because I'm going to keep that personal. It's a very beautiful book. I love it. I definitely read it again, especially since it's so short. It's so short and it's such a good story. There's this other book by Ayn Rand. I've read the reviews. I forgot which one it is, but supposedly it's like way too long. Like the story ended and then she just keeps going. But yeah, this book it's the perfect length and it says what it needs to say. The ending is not very realistic though. In my opinion. I don't know. So this other book, it's called What Christians Believe. Oh my god. What Christians Believe. Okay. This is by C.S. Lewis. My rating or my review of this was, I really enjoyed this quick read. It's a very short book. It gave me new perspective and the content was concise and suitable for both Christians and the general public. I say that because it's more of a philosophical book. A lot of Christians say that Christianity and philosophy don't coexist. They're like, no, it's just God. No philosophy. It's just God. I mean, a lot of things are of philosophy, even the simplest things. So I disagree with them. And when I read this, I was like, I was just used to being Christian, all that stuff. I'm not devoted or anything. I'm just like chilling in Christianity. I don't know what I'm doing, actually. It's good to dig deeper into your religion that you grew up in. It's good to question it as well. I used to think it was such a sin, like go to hell immediately if I questioned Christianity, but I've learned that nothing happens. You just have to question everything. Question every religion, your own religion, your childhood, all that stuff. It's good to question it. So whenever I read this, it was the first religious book I've read that is not the Bible. It definitely gave me a new perspective. It opened the doors to read more about my own religion and like I said, I'm not like some devout Christian. I'm neutral, okay? That's what it is. I'm neutral right now. My mind changes a lot, so I don't know. Yeah, my mind changes a lot. So if you see like a video and I'm like saying something, my mind probably changed by now. It changes so much because the thing about me is I look at so many perspectives and I put myself in different perspectives. I'm like, oh wait, no. It's good to question yourself. It's good to not just be stable in your thoughts. I wouldn't say beliefs because you should defend your beliefs, but just keep looking at new perspectives. That's all it is. And I wouldn't say it's a bad thing though to question yourself. So what Christians believe, like I said, is a new perspective. It's more of a philosophical way of looking at Christianity, more of a literal way too. I mean, a lot of preachers say the same thing. And this is basically more literal, real life situation type of philosophy. Do I recommend it? I don't know. If you've never read anything religious, I would recommend it, especially since it's such a short read. It's so quick. My rating would be like a 3, 4. This other book, it's called The Art of War, and by Sun Tzu. I don't know how you say that. Sun Tzu. Let's see how you pronounce that. Tzu. Tzu. Okay, Tzu. The Art of War. Supposedly, this is a very popular book. How many ratings does it have? 485,000 ratings. Very popular book. Do I like it? I rate it like a 3 out of 10. It wasn't really my cup of tea, honestly. It's very philosophical, a philosophical way of looking at war, very literal way of looking at war. I guess knowing to look at other people's perspective, like you're the bad guy. Like, let's say I'm the good person. I'm the good person, but so are you. But according to you, I'm the bad person. So which one's the fact? Like who's in the right in this book? That's how I remember it. It's been a while since all these books I read in 2023, so it's been a while. And yeah, The Art of War, very philosophical way of looking at war. It gave me more insight of war, things you never really think about, because I mean, obviously many of us thankfully haven't been in a physical war. I mean, I guess mentally, yeah, but it's not the same as a physical war, like with guns and swords or whatever. This one, I think it's very ancient, so it's like swords and stuff. But I don't know. It gave me a new perspective of war. It was very cool. I think I'll change my rating to like a 5 or 6. I'll give it a 6. This next book is called God is Able by Priscilla Shirer. God is Able. I would rate this book a good 8 out of 10. Pretty good testimony. This is another religious book I read. So it's a lot about her testimony and how she prayed for everything. And at this time, I really needed to hear this. I was kind of going back to religion and everything. I'm back and forth in it, but at this time I was like going back into it. And basically Priscilla talks about her testimony and how she prayed for everything, any little thing she prayed for, any circumstance, any, like, not just the bad things, like, or even the things that you're nervous for, like, oh, I'm gonna take a test, let me pray. Obviously people would pray about that. Or I'm gonna buy a car tomorrow, I'm gonna pray I get the good one. Or I'm gonna pray for this, let's pray for our food. Not like the typical things to pray about. It basically gives you perspective to pray about everything. Like, I'm outside, God, thank you for this sun, thank you for giving me feet, thank you for all these things, being grateful and praying, not asking for things all the time. Basically it says, like, God isn't your servant. You shouldn't just pray when you need stuff. I could say a lot more about this, contradicting all of this, what I'm saying, but this is what the book was about. But yeah, just that's what it talked about. I think it's a book I need to read at that time. Sorry, my hair is like so crazy right now. And yeah, I would rate this God is Able about 8 out of 10. Like I said, to pray about everything is what it talks about. Yeah, a lot more, but would I recommend it? I guess if you're Christian. I mean, if you're not Christian, why would you want to? Okay, this next book is called #GirlBoss by Sophia Amoruso. I read this. I didn't read this in 2023. Out of all these books, this is the only one I read in 2021 or 2022. Before that, I didn't even keep track of what I read, but this is the one I put on here. So this is #GirlBoss by Sophia Amoruso. My review on Goodreads is: this book is an entertaining and inspiring read, especially for young women who are looking for guidance on how to start their own business. I enjoyed reading this book as it provided a glimpse into the challenges and rewards of entrepreneurship. The author's writing style is engaging. That is very true. I do remember it was very sarcastic, very engaging, humorous, and relatable. Her story is a testament to the power of hard work, perseverance, and belief in oneself. However, I have to admit that I didn't learn anything groundbreaking from this book. I read it during a weird time in my life when I was feeling lost and needed a distraction. Oh my god, I don't remember writing this. While Girl Boss didn't necessarily have a significant impact on my life, it was an enjoyable and easy read that kept me entertained. Overall, I would recommend it as a fun and inspiring read, especially for young women who are interested in entrepreneurship or looking for a dose of motivation. I think just for fun too. I don't remember writing that, but that was very, I don't know, it's weird because I don't remember writing that. It was very detailed. So Girl Boss was about, or is about, this lady. Her name is Sophia Amoruso, and right now she has a company, a clothing line. It's called Nasty Gal. It's like Forever 21, H&M. It's actually really good. It's not like Forever 21 would have this shirt and be like hashtag smile or something. And you look at Nasty Gal, her website for clothes, it would be just like simple. You don't have to add no dumb lettering or symbols or anything. Just a shirt, That's what I liked about her line. Anyway, so the book, it was mostly like her testimony and about starting a business from like zero, completely from zero, and to be having the motivation to start a business even if you're like a hobo or like so extremely poor, living paycheck to paycheck. Like you can still start a business and even start super tiny, not even small, like tiny, like a speck. And yeah, it was very eye-opening. It's more like a businessy type of book, entrepreneurship. And yeah, she started like on eBay before she had her own clothing line. She started on eBay after that. I forgot what she did, but she started on eBay. She moved like to New York, something like that, or LA. I don't know, one of those two. And to start a business, and yeah, now she has Nasty Gal and it's very popular. What would I rate it? I don't know. Definitely a fun read, very fun. I'd say like a 7 out of 10. If you're like into entrepreneurship, be a bit higher, but I'm pretty neutral. The next book is called, oh my god, I can't even believe I read this. It's called The Communist Manifesto. Sorry, before I did this video, I talked, like I said in the beginning, I talked for a very long time, so now I'm like out of breath. It's also getting hot, so yeah, The Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx. This book was very interesting. I would see why it's very controversial. Personally, I wouldn't get offended by words on a book. It's not really my place, Although I did read a lot of reviews on this book, and the conclusion of those reviews is this man has never worked a day in his life. And I agreed, kind of. That was my phone. I thought I put on do not disturb. Okay, so the Communist Manifesto was very, I didn't agree with most of it. It was a very interesting read. It gives you new perspective. I think it's good to read books that you wouldn't typically read because it does give you new perspective, which is very good. Like I said, it's very good to change your mind. It would be, in my books, it would be bad to not be open to perceptions and being in other people's shoes and seeing what it's like. So this book, I would say, was very much that, like seeing a new perspective. It said something about religion in the workplace. personally, it was very controlling, and I didn't agree with it. I would rate it like I don't know. The writing was pretty bad too. It was kind of hard to understand. The writing was not concise. Uh, what would I rate it? 2? That's being generous too. Good 2 is the Communist Manifesto. A 3. I'd give it a 3. 3 because new perspective, you learn. So the next book was in Spanish. It's called El Poder de la Gratitud by Marc Reklau. I don't really remember this book. It was a journaling book. Journaling. I think it's in English. The Power of Gratitude. Pretty sure it's available in English as well. So it's basically a journaling book. You journal for 7 days, and it gives you prompts. And yeah, I'd say it's pretty good if you're new to journaling. If you're trying to be more grateful. Personally, I journal a lot, and I have my own prompts. Like I just write a whole book, not a whole book, a couple pages, and without prompts. I've just always been like that. But it's very good if you're a beginner in journaling. And yeah, it just basically I wouldn't say tells you, it suggests to you to be grateful for more things in life, because the smallest things people would probably sell their dog for. Like we're so fortunate to where we have things and we're not even grateful for them. I mean, we appreciate them and we're used to having stuff or being healthy even. We're just so used to it. And yeah, it just makes you stop and realize to be grateful. Like, oh, I'm grateful I have hair. Many people have to wear wigs. I know it's so random, but it's true. I'm grateful I can see with both eyes. I'm grateful I have eyebrows. I'm grateful for this microphone that I was able to purchase. I'm grateful for Diet Coke. 100%. I love Diet Coke. So, this book I would rate, I don't know, like a 6 out of 10. Only because I'm not really into journal prompts. Or I am, but I feel like it's more for a beginner. Let's see. The next book is called Resiliencia. It's in Spanish. I'm pretty sure it's in English. Available in English as well. By Daniel Goleman. Resiliencia, which means resilience. So in English, it'd be called resilience. And it's about emotional intelligence. And what I remember, I don't really remember this book. I do remember that it was like about being resilient when it comes to entrepreneurship. And my rating was out of 5. Out of 5, my rating was a 3.76. There's this conclusion on here, or summary. I can translate it. I could show you my translating skills. Pretty terrible. It's in Spanish, but since I don't have much to say about it, I'll read it. Oh my god, I don't know if I can translate this. What do people do to go over with strength the troubles of life, the crises which are professional, also personal trauma? This book reveals some words in Spanish I cannot understand because it's like Spain Spanish. I know Mexico Spanish. I don't know Spain Spanish. I don't know if I can translate this. I'll translate it on Google Translate. Like I said, this is Spain Spanish. That's my excuse. Spain Spanish. I cannot. Ver los rasgos. I can read in Spanish just to. Okay. ¿Cómo hacen algunas personas para superar con entereza las adversidades de la vida, las crisis profesionales o incluso graves traumas personales? Este libro revela los rasgos sobresalientes de aquellos que salen fortalecidos de los desafíos, ayuda a enterar el cerebro para soportar las tensiones de la vida diaria y proporciona un método para ejercer eficazmente una carrera profesional. Este título incluye artículos de Daniel Goleman, Jeffrey y Sean Aker, la serie Inteligencia Emocional de HBR ofrece una selección de lecturas inteligentes y esenciales sobre los aspectos humanos de la vida profesional extraídas de artículos de la Harvard Business Review. One more minute and I'm done. Cada libro de esta serie presenta investigaciones contrastadas que muestran cómo las emociones intervienen en nuestra vida laboral. Además, ofrece consejos prácticos para coordinar a equipos y gestionar situaciones conflictivas y textos estimulantes que ayudan a conseguir el bienestar emocional en el trabajo. Inspiradores y prácticos, estos libros definen las habilidades sociales que cualquier profesional debe dominar. And yeah, if you understand Spanish, that's what it's about. If you don't, I'm sorry. So the last book I read in 2023 is What Happens Next? Conversations from Mars. It's just a bunch of interviews about Mars. People who, I guess, astronauts and researchers that do Mars research to get us to Mars. And obviously from NASA and other space corporations. So this one, I don't know, I'd rate like it's very educational. It's very educational. I'd give it like a good 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. If you're into Mars and all of that. It's very science-based. And it talks about one thing that stuck to me that I can't remember is that they have like this base, I think in Antarctica or Greenland. Either one. They have a base in either one of those. Because it resembles Mars, like the temperature and everything. And they send people there to train to be in Mars, like to survive and everything, to get used to the weather. There's nothing there, so that they get used to the blandness and all of that. And they do like these boot camps where you're with roommates and stuff in a Mars camp in Antarctica or Greenland. If you know, I don't know, let me know, because I don't know. I could look it up right now, but I don't know. I don't want to. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. That's one thing I learned from it. And they also talk about the space suits, which is very cool. I guess if you're very into science and Mars exploration, I recommend it. Other than that, there's a lot I can say about Mars exploration. A lot of people think that they're throwing money in the trash can by funding space exploration and expanding to Mars and becoming a multiplanetary system. My whole question is, the whole thing is, oh, if something happens to Earth, we can go to Mars. But who goes to Mars? The people with money. So it's like, are the people without money not worthy of escaping the, I don't know, the rotting of Earth? Like if it was going down, like if something happened, they're obviously not in their brains, they're not capable of being moved to Mars, if that makes sense. And it doesn't really talk about that, obviously. It's a bunch of rich people interviews. But But yeah, that was all. This is a very long video. I just saw it's like 40 minutes. I'll try to edit it. But yeah, thank you for watching. I definitely recommend each and every book I talked about. I mostly recommend The Player of Games and Surface Detail and Ayn Rand. What was it? My brain is like so fried right now. Anthem by Ayn Rand. I definitely recommend it. Yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you feel like it. If you don't, that's perfectly fine too. Thank you.